Part 2 of my Britta and Troy apologia talked about how misconceptions can ruin characters and character dynamics. So for the issue at hand, instead of taking a hard stance in any direction, I'm just going to follow lines of reasoning and leave the conclusion up for further discussion. The issue?
Our referendum's dangerous. Brexit is ready.
Record scratch app.
This kiss. A lot of people say it's an electrifying moment that stokes the fires of Annie and Abed's romantic potential. But does it? Is that Abed? In this situation, he's playing Han Solo.
Annie's a good kid and a better shot. So listen up or you'll be floating home.
Thank you, Abed? Sorry. Han. Okay.
It's what Abed does. His analytical and aloof nature
I'm a student of human character. My aloofness unconsciously reminds them of their fathers, so...
allows him to shapeshift, assume identities.
She probably just doesn't understand people.
And Annie has seen this before. In physical education, they share another exhilarating moment when Abed seduces Annie as Don Draper.
Didn't you?
Abed, what are you doing?
Don Draper from Mad Men. What'd you think?
Weird.
Awesome.
Put your tongue in her ear.
I liked it.
That was the whole theme of the episode, changing for other people.
That's why I was willing to change for you guys. Because when you really know who you are and what you like about yourself, changing for other people isn't such a big deal.
Later, in The Science of Illusion, Abed turns into a cliché, furious police commissioner to motivate Shirley and Annie into working together.
All I see is a housewife and a Girl Scout.
Hey! Abed!
I say get out!
Annie even recognizes this, saying,
That African-American police chief character Abed was playing was right.
So, returning to a few paintballs more, it seems that this isn't an Annie-Abed kiss after all. By asking him,
Will you still be Han Solo after we die?
she is explicitly establishing that this is Han, not Abed. Therefore, this is a kiss between Annie and Han, not Abed. And Han Solo, if you remember, is a roguish, devil-may-care Jeff archetype.
I'm in it for me.
Wait, Abed, this was your idea.
I know, but I'm calling dibs on the Han Solo role before Jeff slouches into it by default.
So it seems that not only is this not an Annie-Abed moment, it's actually fuel for the Annie-Jeff pairing. Interesting, but I'm still not certain. Why did Abed turn into Han Solo? His excuse is that,
I was only Han Solo because the context demanded it.
but what does that mean? If the context demands a Han Solo, why didn't he just let it happen with Jeff?
Denny's is for winners.
Did he merely want to have some fun playing make-believe for a day? Possibly. But what if something more complicated is at work here? What if Abed has feelings for Annie, and this is his unorthodox way of getting closer to her?
There's a conspiracy here. A dark, vast conspiracy that may just go all the way to the top.
This is Greendale, Annie. If there's a conspiracy, it goes all the way to slightly below the middle.
In The Art of Discourse, Pierce calls Britta and Annie
flat butt and the one Abed wants to nail.
Now, considering that Britta indicates she hasn't picked up any vibes from Abed, and that she's usually the butt of the jokes in these situations, and that Pierce is slightly less likely to insult Annie because she's the dearest one to him,
She's actually just my favorite.
I think that between Britta and Annie, we can reasonably infer that Annie is the
The one Abed wants to...
That's great. Annie's pretty young. We try not to sexualize her.
Motive.
Notice, too, that in Anthropology 101, Abed is unusually concerned, even upset,
What? When? Where?
by the notion of Annie kissing Jeff. Are we seeing jealousy in Abed caused by his affection for Annie? This is a lot more speculative than the former point. He could be concerned simply because the kiss threatens the stability of the group, but it's something to keep in mind. As we've said before, Abed's analytical mind gives him uncanny insight into who his friends are.
I know you guys all so well I can predict your behavior. Like Shirley, I know you're a sweet, Christian, generous person. Oh, that's nice. I also know you have thinly veiled rage issues. Careful, boy.
And this insight, coupled with his detached nature, allows him to morph between identities.
Arky barky, ark bark bark.
If Abed wants to romance Annie, he has a way to do it. His insight shows him all the qualities Annie is attracted to, and his ability to transform allows him to embody those attractive qualities.
Means.
Seeing that it's the end of the year,
What are you doing?
Just giving things a finale vibe.
the paintball games are a time of fantasy,
In other words, it seems we left the Western motif and entering more of a Star Wars scenario.
and finally that Annie is being,
Pretty awesome today.
this is the perfect moment for Abed to make his move, in the only way he knows how.
I can only connect with people through... movies. Opportunity.
Putting it all together,
What?
Abed has a crush on Annie, He knows what she's into and he can mold himself to fit that image and become desirable in her eyes. Paintball round 2 happens. The climactic, end-of-the-year atmosphere of chaos, adrenaline, and fantasy is the perfect time and place for Abed to switch things up and play romance. So, he becomes Han Solo, a character he knows Annie would be attracted to and flirts with her all day, culminating in a passionate kiss that he initiates. And so we revert back to the original position. This is an Annie Abed moment, pure and simple. And considering the lengths Abed goes to and how much it reveals and demands of his character, it's a pretty damn beautiful and romantic moment at that. Perhaps a little creepy and manipulative too, though. It's Abed.
It's not fair that Abed just gets to be the cool one. We have to show that well, there's a price. You know, there's bad qualities to him.
So what's the verdict? Is this Abed merely playing around and unintentionally provoking the Jeff-Annie romance? Or is this Abed genuinely acting on his feelings for Annie in his removed, elaborate, whimsical Abed Nadir fashion? It may be both, a quantum superposition of romance. We may not know precisely in what way love is taking shape here, but it is present and breathtaking nevertheless.